puberty and hygiene. I don't think we need to look very far for families who would have a tale to tell if they've got teenagers who have been that sort of prepubescent or that teenager going through puberty, and the hygiene issues that often go along with that. There's perhaps reluctance to go into the bathroom, to take a shower, to have a bath, or on the flip side of that, those young people that actually hog the bathroom and are in there for far too long. I know one young lady who lived with a few friends, and she was in a lot of trouble with them a few times because she ran all the hot water off for their shared accommodation. And so sometimes it's about noticing where those differences are coming from in terms of neurodiversity, or are they just part and parcel of that whole puberty and development? And of course, the connections for our children might be that actually they're triggered from a different place. And I know a little girl who, not quite 8, commented on the fact that her armpits were smelling like salt and vinegar. And that's not unusual for our children to start going through some of those chemical body changes, some of those puberty pathways at a much younger age than their peers, but they're not necessarily always socially or emotionally lined up for that. But one of my kind of points there would be to be preparing our children maybe sooner for those body changes than we would in terms of older children, in terms of more typically developing children. And one of the things I think that helps with that is if we start talking to our young sort of prepubescent little ones about the importance of hygiene and skincare and those sorts of things. I know very recently I've just been working with a very small little person who is reluctant to go into the bath or go into the shower, but actually loves facts. And so sometimes loading with facts can be a really helpful thing. And we actually just did a little bit about Lucy's skin. So we said that a grown-up has an average of 2 square meters of skin, that it's a proactive barrier to keep our bodies safe and well, and it's our body's largest organ. And then we did a picture of her favourite things having a bath. So one is her little rubber penguin that she takes in the bath with her, and then there's one there of her family dogs, her pets, and then just one of a little friend on holiday having a bath as well, in a bucket outside. So a bit of flexibility there as well, which is never a bad thing. So puberty and hygiene for our children also comes into understanding developmental levels and also thinking in terms of where are they at when it comes to accessing bathrooms and accessing what we need them to. And then, of course, sometimes for our children, because of that impulsivity and that risk-taking factor, I know a young man who very recently, he's just turned 13, and he came out with a very red area between his eyebrows from the bathroom, and his mum said to him, "What on earth have you been doing?" And he'd got his dad's wet razor and he'd shaved between his eyebrows because somebody at school had commented that he had a monobrow. So my point there is that just being mindful of the fact that if we leave bathroom equipment around in the bathroom, then there is a danger as our children become more curious that they would just impulsively have a go and won't necessarily go through that preparatory process that other children might. So being mindful of that can be really helpful. And also timers and timings can be helpful. The young lady who ran the hot water off in the shower, she worked really well with having an agreed piece of music on while she took a shower, and then she knew as that came to an end that it was time to get out and to share the shower. And then I've had other families where using little travel size toiletries have been a really good idea because their sensory systems are changing all the time. time. And so one smell one week might be really lovely and acceptable, but then actually repulsive the next week. So using those little travel size or just tiny refills can be really helpful as well. And of course, if you've got a child who's reluctant to engage in any sort of hygiene systems and processes, then trying to take them on board with you and choosing things from the chemist or from the supermarket yourselves and working together on that and helping sort of choose together can be really helpful. And then, as I say, loading with facts, that it's a fact that we need in order to maintain health and keep well, that we need to clean our skin and clean our hair. And I know with sensory processing for some people this is really difficult. I've got one little girl at the moment and she's just tolerating a wet through hair towel around her hair because she's not tolerating having her hair washed. So thinking outside of the box and thinking how we can go about doing things differently and agreeing what's right for your family, because not every child needs a shower in the morning and a bath at night, or even one every day. So agreeing where the kind of hygiene and that sort of level of acceptance is right for your family can be really helpful, and marking that up on a schedule so that our children know that that's bath night. And if they need a bit more flexibility, allowing them to choose when bath night might be. So I hope there's something there that will just help with that journey, that inevitable journey of development around puberty and hygiene.